Hello everyone, just making sure that everyone can hear me. And Sandeep, can you see my screen?
Yes, Tiana.
It's the right one?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Hello everyone, thank you for joining with us this webinar sessions about Gov Report's exciting new stuff. My name is Tiana Tran. I have been on the journey with Gov Reports since the historical commencement of SBR in July 2010. Perhaps a bit less exaggerated there, as my tenure here is a bit longer than that. As a small software house, my role here, just like many of you as practice owners out there, it has no barriers in the business, and yes, I do often answer support calls. If you were thinking that voice is familiar, it's me. And this picture is taken from my office cubicle on a hot day last week, a bit sad and grumpy because no one was calling. And yes, I crop out all the junks behind me so that you won't see them. Anyway, before we dive into the sessions, I just want to check if everyone can hear me. Please raise your hands on the screen if you can't hear me. Okay, for the webinar sessions like this, we often find there are occasional situations where people can't hear us well, maybe internet-related issues, headsets, computer issues. You can try the alternate option, so to also sign in with your mobile phone and keep your computer going so you can see the screen better. I find that it can be better with reception of frequency and you can hear better. And if all else fail, the webinar session is recorded and will be posted on the website, and we will also be sending it off to you as well. So you can revisit at your own time, where you can control when to pause or to turn me off or on. So without further excuses, let us now go straight into the sessions. Okay, the past few years, our team had been analyzing the feedback we got from you over time and working through a few major items. We have an extensive list that we have worked on and deliver, and still we are continuing to work on this list for quite some time before we can say that we are satisfied with what we have. What I see as the new major three changes that affect you as the user are the additional ATO services that we have implemented and will be adding on as well. Office Practice Manager upgrades and more single touch payroll options for SMEs. Of course, in the past year, we have implemented many changes. Some are behind the scene or within the system, and some are cosmetic or features that directly help you as our users to improve the workflow or process. Today, I will go through not only the three new major service features that I mentioned here, as well as the demo walkthrough, how you can utilize these services, and some other features that we have released during the past 12 months. Okay, so when we talk about firstly, the additional ATO services, you already, for many of you, Outstanding Report has been there. It's now extended to other reporting obligations that the ATO has. So not only activity statements, for tax agents, it's now also include tax returns. I know some of the BAS agents are already complaining. Yes, what about TPA? What about TFND and others? Unfortunately, it's only this is what the ATO has, so activity statements and all the tax returns. So if the client has, if it's a settlement super fund, if it's a fringe benefit tax, it will all come up in the outstanding reports. So if you have not configured, you can now configure the outstanding reports. I think actually these services are not going to be going live until next Wednesday night or first thing in the morning, Thursday morning. And the other thing is the client's account and client transaction list. you'll be from next week, you'll be able to, next Wednesday or Thursday, you'll be able to view the client's account and be able to list the client transactions with from the ATO, and be able to export them into a CSV file so that you can work through, etc. Okay, secondly is the Office Manager upgrades. Late last year, we announced the Google Calendar integrations. Yes, for those for those people that are using Google email service provider, I know we had feedback, and there has been feedback for Outlook integration as well. We are analyzing, and we will let you know when we will be working on that and releasing that. The other service that we have, features that we have released, is the alerts and notification. This is automatic, so any changes in your account. So for example, if you got updates on the client has signed documents, or the job has been completed, marked and changed the status, you'll be notified and given an alert on your account on the top of your right of your screen, which I will show you later on. And then the summary reports, this is also has been released, I believe. It has been released, and it's we'll give you a list of the summary of activities that you do, and you can set up so that you receive the reports, receive report on the frequency of the report that comes to you. Going forward, from 4 onward, these have not yet been released, but you'll be able to customize the job status. So at the moment, I think there's about 10 or 15 job status, but of course you can customize depending on your practice. You can customize the job status that you want, you know, like the level of jobs, the job status, however you want to name it. The job summary reports is also will be released, and of course engagement letter. Currently, with the GovReports Office Practice Manager, you can send out, you can customize some parts of the engagement letter and be able to directly get your clients to approved, and it will be kept on file with on the Office Practice Manager on the client's account. Having said that, going forward, you'll be able to also upload your own engagement letter, so it's and get the client's approval and kept it on file, so it will be convenient if and when there is a dispute, an audit, or you know, any issues that you might need to come back to this. Additional document management options. Currently, Dropbox is the only options for document management and through Office Practice Manager. We are looking at other options, perhaps using Google Drive, but we are, like I've said, we are currently analyzing and working on this, and we'll let you know when that will be released. But it is in a not too distant future. The other the last one, the 3, which I can see is a major one, is the single touch payroll reporting options. You already have seen the reporting options from GovReports, which we released July last year. I know from the last few webinars that we had a few queries that people were saying that they did not see this option. It is available. It has been available in GovReports since July last year, and it's basically like the activity statements. You'll be able to go to forms, select the STP pay events, and fill out the details just like you would with the activity statements, or upload the file. Currently, we enable for some file formats, some desktop file format, and also CSV. It's available if you're using GovReports. It's available in the savvy packages and on-demand packages. Now, we are also requesting for the reporting solutions for small business. the single touch payroll reporting for small business, and that's available, will be available for IAM. Currently, IAM already in existence, and if people that know a little bit about our history, we initially released IAM for SBR services, and that has been held back since Gov reports become more of our mainstream. IAM will be now released specifically for single touch payroll for small business, and it's only available through the agents subscriptions. So I know some of you would, if you look into the App Center or from your accounts, you'll be able to see IAM. That's the accountant's ledger. You'll be able to open up and see some of the details there. The single touch payroll reporting is not yet available in IAM, but it will be as we release them later in February, March. And also more functionalities on IAM in April with the client portal functionalities. It will be a standalone applications, and we had covered this in the past. This Tuesday's early this week's webinar, so you can revisit them if you wish to, and otherwise tune into the new webinars that we have on IAM specifically in February and also in April. So without further ado, let's now go to the demo. Okay. Now, before I go into the demo, I just want to have a little bit of a disclaimer first, is that this is our testing account and it is in a testing environment. The speed in this will not be as fast as your production account, or it might be some distorted, as like I said, it's not a real account. And all the information's in here, all the tax file number or ABN that you might see is not real. Okay. Oh, it's taking that long. Wow, it's taking longer than I anticipated. Anyway, we're here. Okay, now I will not go through in the chronicle order that I've went through in the slides, as there are a few features that I thought it's better to go through from the beginning, the settings. So for those that are new to Gov reports, you'll be able to see some of these new features or some of the features. Or mind you, we do every now and then get questions that I didn't know that's there. So now, like I said, some of the changes we did not really announce it to you. So for example, your account settings and so forth, all the menu has been changed. You can go into just a little bit. We introduced the Google Authenticator. So if you need additional security login details, you can go into the security settings and click enable, and you'll be able to, if you click enable, which I can do, update, for example, because it's already been enabled, confirm, and the code will be there just like you would have used in other applications where Google Authenticator is used. Use your mobile phones, put in Gov reports, scan the barcode, and you will be able to get the code and to enter and activate the features. I will not go into that, so I'll go into another one. And the other option is the notification setting. As I mentioned, this is part of the how often do you want to be notified. weekly, the what was it that we call it? Summary report. Basically, all your lodgements, digital signature, anything that's been completed, anything that's been changed in your account, you'll be notified on email, as well as when you log into your Gov reports, you will see on the top, which we missed it a little bit earlier, which I didn't show you. Just go back to home. You will see the little bell, and that bell, normally you would have a numbers, like something in red. That means you've got something new, and that has been updated onto your accounts, and then you can attend to those. So just like your emails and so forth, you'll be notified. And then, of course, from that, you were also able to see the email log, the email settings. If you are sending out mails for sending out for digital signature, please ensure that you have your email set up, your email settings set up, so that it will be sent from your email rather than from the default from Gov Reports email, and your client can be, a little bit hesitated to answer these, to open the emails. And of course, you need to change your email, your login details, or your business details. It can be managed from here. Okay, the other thing, lodgement settings. Now, if you click on lodgement setting, anything related to lodgement, it can be accessible from here. And if you lodging payroll tax to the Office of State Revenue, you need to update your OSCE. You need to upload your OSCE and update every now and then. Of course, if this is the first time you use Gov Reports, you need to do the ATO software nomination. Just go through the details here, all the settings that might be applicable to you, and go through that. It's pretty straightforward. And if you have doubt, just give us a call. Like I said, because these are existing services that we already have there. The other thing that we have, and it's accessible from here, is the outstanding report settings. Like I said, it can be set up from the very beginning. At the moment, I'm not too sure that you are aware, the outstanding reports is currently on a manual synchronizations process. So in other words, every now and then you do need to go in and click synchronize previously. Going forward, you can set up automatically to synchronize, so that each time that you log into your Gov Reports, you will be updated with the reporting obligations of your clients that come up and issues by the ATO automatically, rather than just going back to the outstanding report and click synchronize or update fields. Okay, so I won't click here because this account is not real, but you can set it up straight from here. So now I'm going to go back to home. So while we're on this topic of the outstanding reports, I'm just going to go straight into that. So for those that are not familiar with outstanding report, this is the outstanding reports. And as I mentioned earlier, this is a testing account. I'm not that nasty. These balances are not overdue. They are just not real. Okay, so for the outstanding reports, it's basically reporting obligations that is not being met or has been issued by the ATO or the Office of State Revenue. So to get access to that, there's a few ways that you can go into it. So the first one, this is when you want to do in bulk, and go to My Lodgements, Outstanding Reports, select on that, and go to the Action tab, and from there you can go into client configurations. From here, previously it would say activity statements. Now it's just the ATO forms. In other words, if the client has other reporting obligations for the ATO, it just will be part of it. And if later on, if ATO decided to put TPA and other reporting obligations on, perhaps it will be part of the ATO forms. And if your client has payroll tax obligations, you can certainly click on basically the one that are applicable to them for the ones, and then attach to that client, so you'll be reminded when the payroll tax is due. In this case, ATO forms. If it's the ABN that you have supplied for that client is a self-managed super fund, then it will be a tax return for the self-managed super fund, and of course any activity statement is required for that entity. So just the one. Once you select it's the form that you want, and that you just tick the clients applicable to this requirement. So once you tick, I won't tick it, but once you tick, it starts synchronized and starts saving it onto the system without you having to do anything or click save here. Okay, once you make the selections, just go through each and every one of them. Of course, you can have more. If you've got a lot of clients, you can just go down and basically list all the clients and then click on. I note that because each time that you click on someone, one of the entity, it will start synchronized and start giving you the updates. Once you've done that, save it, and then you can also go into the synchronized frequency setting. And just like the earlier I showed you, you can automatically set for it to be manually updating you. If you don't like it to be updated, just put it on manual so that it's switched off, and you go back in and synchronize and manually synchronize it each time that you want to see the reports, see the updates. Once you've done it, it will be automatic, manual submit. You notice how you took you back to the settings that we had earlier. So now once you update the details, your client's details for outstanding reports, it will then be updated on your outstanding reports from your home page. You can also, for the outstanding report, when you have a new client, specifically, you can add the new clients. For example, I'll just pick on this one. And when you arrive at, when you fill out the client's details and arrive to the client's profile page, you can then also, just before you go into that, you need to do the client update if this is a brand new client to your file. So notice it was previously a client update. It's now called Ato Services. So you can go into client update, add the clients into your account. This will also update on the ATO portal. So you won't need to go back to the ATO portal and add the clients onto your portal. This will basically do it directly. Now, this is quite popular, especially during tax time when tax agents come in and bump out the bookkeepers, and occasionally we get clients and say, hi, I'm always lodging for these clients and it's now saying that I'm not authorized. So just check on your portal. If it's the client's not there, it's because the other party, the tax agents, have knocked you out. And the same thing, tax agents, if you're using the system, you're not on the list, you're not authorized, it's because the BAS agents is lodging on behalf of the clients. It's unfortunately the ATO has a single system for tax and BAS agents to submit reports on behalf of clients. Once you click update, depending on the services that you provide for the clients, update, make that change, then you go into the client's action tab and update on the outstanding reports. Just if you want to be reminded of their reporting obligations to the ATO or the payroll tax accordingly, and select that form and update. Once that's done, you can, like I said, one of the new services that we have added is the integrated account balance or the client's accounts. Now, if I go onto that, the client's account, click synchronize. There's two ways that you can get through the client's account from the client's dashboard menu, just on this row or on the top. Now, once you click on that text you there, you notice the clients. If this is the clients, if you need to see the account list, so how many reporting obligations they have with the ATO, click on the little arrow there. That will give you the expense. In this case, the main activities here is the ABR integrated account is true, and then of course you need to see the transactions. It will click on the view, and that will list out all the transactions this entity has with the ATO. And of course, you can change the date. This is the default date that we have for this entity, but of course you can change the date so you can see the list, the extensive list, depending on how long you want to go back. And of course you can also export all the transaction into Excel so that you can continue to work on the client's file. Okay, so that is the ATO services. So let us now have a look at the other thing. The other updates that we have in Gov reports is, of course, the single touch payroll. For those that said that mentions to us that they have not seen the single touch payroll reporting obligation, it's there. It's available in forms. So for this particular client, you can see the list of all the forms that you have access to this. This is the tax agent's account, so there is an extensive list. But if you are BAS agents, it will be the forms that you are authorized to lodge. So you can see there the single touch payroll, the STP payroll events. If you select that, it will populate the form and pre-fill the information. Oops, this is the problem when you're doing live, all right? Luckily, I do have a few drafted reports. Just let me get rid of these. Okay, so if the ATO is not working, unfortunately, some of the things you can go through, there is facility for you to do it offline, or do not just prepare the reports and put into draft. Or for activity statement, there is an offline facility because of any pre-filling from the ATO, you can do it offline. Choose the offline options. So for example, the payroll, if that was to populate, you can, I'll click on this one. If that was to work, I mean, that was live, then you would be able, when you click on forms and select the STP payroll events, once that's open, this is what you would see. The employee information or the client, the business information would be pre-filled. You would then need to enter the payee's details. Now, in this case, because I have added, it should be employee at pay run. So it's when you would have the options to upload the employee's details, or simply just to add one by one. You just need to confirm the reporting period and payment date and the total, the gross payment, and of course, for each of the employee, once you click on them, for example, I'm just going to click on one of them. You need to complete all the details. And of course, if you do it manually the first time, you can roll over the details, the pay run details, for subsequent times, and just update the figures if it is different. Now, the difference between IAM and Gov reports, with Gov reports, it's the final figures. We require the final figures, so it doesn't do the calculations for you. This is assuming that your client is already using some sort of payroll software, desktop payroll software, or some other software or you do the calculations for them, and you just need to fill out the details. Of course, anything in red, you need to fill it out. Payroll employees need to have the payroll ID. If you don't have, if they using software that does not generate the payroll software payroll ID number, payroll number, then you can just enter it manually. Just as long as you remember what the numbers that you allocated to them. Like I said, anything in red, you must fill out the details, and of course the period of pay, the gross pay, etc., and the rest of the details. And depending on whether this is a normal pay or if it's an ETP or whatever it is, you can click and select the appropriate type of payment that you make for these employees. Once that's done, just save the details and it's added onto the system. Okay, I won't do it. Like I said, it's not live at the moment. So once you add, save and submit, save as a draft, you validate. Now, for those that are not familiar why we have the validate and send for signature. For some people that have in the past, validate just means it's cross-checking with the data with the ATO and making sure that there is no mismatched data or details that it has already with the ATO and acceptable. normally when you validate and it comes back with errors, it means there's a mismatch. And of course, we have the option validate and send for signature. The reasons we have validate because some people are still using, not using the GovReport digital signature. But if you want to use for GovReport use the GovReport digital signature and send to your clients for authorization, you can select the third options. Validate can cross-check the details with the ATO. And if you do validate, I'm just going to cancel this so that I can show you another options as well. Go back to the save reports, and we're going to select the other one because I know that I can't validate since it's not working for me earlier. Now, as you can see here, that the ones that I picked earlier was this one, and it was in draft. Now we're going to pick that one's valid. There's no error on that one. We're going to pick on that one. You can send it off for signature from here. Also, if you click send for signature from here, and we're going to go through some of the features that we have new features that we have implemented for digital signature. Now, the save report, you notice there, it's because this is valid, you would have the option to send for signature. If the status is anything else but valid, you will not be able to send for signature. So if it's in draft, it's just our system is assuming that it's an incomplete report, and we will not, rather than the confusing status and so forth, that if it's in draft, you won't be able to send for signature. So you would only have the two options: generate invoice or delete the report that you generated. So I'm going to go back to the digital signature here now. You can see there, it's the files already there. The report is already there. If you need to upload any other documents along with this report, you can do so. Otherwise, the details your client's details will be pre-filled onto here. You just confirm it. Whether this person is the person to sign, you can change, or you can change that if it's only a view access. And this is the new features, right? By default, you would, and previously we have, each time you send for digital signature, it will, when your client receive it, they will be required to enter the one-time password that the system sends to their email. So once they click view documents, the system will automatically send them a one-time password to open to access the documents, and that's a security code is to send to email. There's a little arrow there. You can now, basically, for those clients that are not technologically, like adaptable and, cannot really accept it, you can set no security, but it is up to you. Previously, when we work with the ATO, they require that we have some sort of security. So then we, scale it down because the level of knowledge of clients might not be sophisticated enough to do a lot of these things. So we scale it down, and it is acceptable. It is still better than with wet signature, as in some arguments. The other option is you can also set the security code itself. So this is the new thing. So you set if you confirm that you want to set the security code, it would then, the next options, if you click tab, it will ask you what sort of code do you want for your client to use in order to access this document. So if I put in 1111, right, and you confirm with the clients, normally you can put on their date of birth. It's up to you, whatever, but it might be the same code, or maybe the house address or something like that, or the last 4 digits of their telephone number. Put that as a security code, and the client will need to enter this code instead of waiting for the security code to be sent to their email, which was the conventional way. Like I said, it's up to you to organize that. I know for clients, especially for those that are in the rural area, where sometimes the internet, like to get access to that code can take in a long time, use these options. Or use the no security option so that it's get on at their time. The other new features that we introduced last year, sometime last year, is the safe messages. So for those that are, especially in the rural area, where sometimes the internet, like to get access to that code can take in a long time, use these options. Or use the no security option so that it's get on at their time. The other new features that we introduced last year, sometime last year, is the safe messages. So for those that are, especially in during bath seasons or tax return seasons, you keep on sending the same message to the same to the clients that have these obligations, reporting obligations. You can save the messages and just change the name. Change the name. So at the moment we have, for each account you have access to 5. You can save up to 5 messages that you can reuse each time. But otherwise, and going forward, we also, for those that don't have save messages, we would have default options that you can use also, and you can select them accordingly. So I'm going to go back to that document. I might have lost it now. Just let me have a look. Yeah, I've lost it. I'm just going to go new and just see. And of course, like I said, digital signature, you can send your own documents. I'm just going to create one for now, agree simple one. Right, upload the file, click the client's name. Oh. Okay, so the save messages, once you select the save messages, it will populate and you can go in there. That's it. That's basically the changes that we have implemented in digital signature. I won't go through the whole process of digital signature because I know some of you, this is not about the digital signature, but I want to walk through the new features that we have implemented. So not much change. If you need more information about this, there are webinars, past webinars that we have done that can take you through. And of course, last week we had also another sessions on digital signature, and that session is recorded on the website. Of course, if you need to manage the documents that you've signed, there's options there. Remind, it's pretty straightforward, pretty straightforward. Like I said, if you need help on this, just give us a call. I'll walk, we can walk you through. So now I'm going to go back to Gov Reports, the other new features that we have implemented, just in case we're going to run out of time. We won't have time to cover all of these. Is the practice management tool, new updates and features. So last week we also had a sessions on this, so we had a detailed sessions on this. I'm just going to go into specifically the changes that we have made, and for those that are using and not updated, like I said, we have integrated with Google Calendar for those that are using Gmail as your service, as email service provider. What that means is that if you go into it, you now, along with your practice management tool, Gov Reports practice management tool calendar, you now can also merge your work calendar onto Gov Reports, so you can see the jobs, the task obligations that are on your list, and so combined so that you won't have the interactive, the merging, not aware of activities that you have to do for your clients. Like I said, this is a testing account, so there's nothing on my calendar, and of course I can't click, but once you click, it would ask you to enter your email address that you have with Google, and you need to log in so that the system can interact and bring together your activities. Okay, I'll leave it because, like I said, the email that we use is not, well, it is real, but it's not a real account, so we won't go through that. If you need to look into this in details, like I said, the webinar that we done last week by Lee Cochran, she will go into details how to use the system. The other things that we have gone through, let me have a look at the list. Okay, is I forgot the topics that I was supposed to do. Okay, before I have a list here. Before we go any further, I think there's quite a few questions that I want to go through before with the new features on Office Practice Manager, which we already have gone through. There are a few questions, so I'm just going to go through them, and thank you. Okay. Lodging super through Gov reports from Ingrid. Ingrid, we previously we can't go back to it as much, and at the moment we are analyzing whether we should put this back. We do have previously we were one of the first people to test for super, but when we put up the survey whether people wanted super, and at the time there was not many people wanting this. In fact, we didn't have any feedback, anyone wanting to use it, and rather than putting on something that people don't want to use, this is because at the time the small business super clearinghouse were quite good. No one wanted to use it. So we basically put it away, and it's not easy for us to bring it back. So having said that, the ATO is making changes continuously to the small business clearinghouse and the ATO portal, and we're just waiting to see whether this is stabilized, and if that's still required, we will consider implementing into Gov reports. Okay, the next questions. I can't see the outstanding report from Tanya. It's definitely there, so I'll just go through that again. So you go to my lodgements, and you would have the options, the last option, outstanding reports. Once you click on that, it would take you to the outstanding report settings. Okay, immediately, if you previously have it set up, it's still going.
Sorry, Tim. Let me jump into that. So you're showing on the test environment what Tanya is asking is on our account. So it is yet to release in the production.
No, it's so Tanya, I didn't notice that Sandeep already answered your questions. The outstanding reports is currently there, but it's only limited to activity statements at the moment. From next Thursday, Thursday next week, you would have the updated version, which is what I'm showing to you now. Okay, hope that answered your questions. And yeah, okay. The next questions I have from Patrick. You just enter. Okay, that has already been answered by Patrick, by Sandeep, so I won't go through it. For employees who are rolling over to STP mid-year within their payroll software, and they has already been terminated employees, can STP manual lodgement be used to bring in the details of those terminated employees so the payroll records are complete with the ATO? The auto upload submitted at the end of each pay event only updates year-to-date figures for the employees paid in that particular run. Sandeep, you want to take that answer, that questions?
Yes, Diana. So when the employees are terminated from their payroll, so that through the Gov reports you can do the manual lodgement for the employee termination, as well as, so you can upload in the CSV format, or as a manual entry you can do that.
Okay.
Yes, Gina.
Okay. The next questions we have is Google Calendar. I haven't used it as yet, as I have heaps of personal listing which I don't want to bring over. So can I select only the best task? Sandeep, that's the questions for you.
Oh yeah. So the Google Calendar, so we do have a sorting option. So it depends upon, for example, in a Google Calendar you can create multiple calendars. So if you're creating a best task as a separate calendar list, so it can be filtered. So the sorting option is available on Gov reports.
Okay, so that's good. The next questions I have from Catherine, is there a way to make no security code as default when sending documents for signature? At the moment, default is email to OTP to email. Sandeep, can you make that as a default?
Currently, Tiana, we can't do that. For the security settings, we need to have some sort of security. That's why we have the security code to the email. Either we can go for the security code to the email or set up their own security code.
Yeah. Yes, unfortunately, Catherine, it's like I said previously, the ATO requires so many things when we send this out. For those that were using our digital signature from the beginning, it was a lot more, it was two-factor authentication at the time because that was what the ATO required. And then, of course, when we complained that, lots of our clients were not using the system because it's difficult, etc., and we scale it down to just the one-time password to email. So yeah, for those clients that you are setting for no security, at least you have a reasons in your client's profile. Some of these things, look, at the moment ATO is quite relaxed, but in the future you never know what they're going to come back with, and we have provided you in the system, as you can see from your client's account here. There is a file note, so if these clients basically because of rural area reasons, where they do not have reliable internet or receptions to receive code on time, make a note and then put on your client's file so it's there. But like Sandeep said, security must be, for us, our system, default, there must be something. Okay, got another question from Ingrid. Yes, the small business clearinghouse is really not good. So yes, please consider. We're still looking, we're still analyzing, but until the ATO, have further confirmation as to what they're going to be making changes in the system, we will let you know our decisions or whether we would take forward and make that change. Another question from Katrina. Would it be possible to download ATO client accounts for all clients in bulk? No. This is what the ATO has, we had trouble with the ATO. That was one of the first things they did not allow for us to do, simply because, for hackers, they tend to download a lot of things in one go. So as you can see earlier, it is a one-by-one request. And each time that you go back to the clients, this is the client that I pulled down the details earlier. So once I get out the accounts and come back, I need to request for synchronizations again, request for the records again. It will not be displayed there each and every time you go. It's just by request. So download in bulk, that's not an option. Okay. Questions from Susan. I would say that now you need to use AuthKey to log into Small Business Clearinghouse. More people would want access from Go Reports to eliminate having to log into the ATO portal with AuthKey.
So Small Business Clearinghouse Services has not been released for the software developers at the moment.
Yeah, we tried that. We're waiting for the system from the ATO to be stabilized. Once that's there, we will request whether we can have access to those rather than implement into our system and make it easier. But having said that, if that's all else fail, we would consider relieving our our previous system that we have removed. But it's not on the top of our list at the moment, I have to be honest with you, Susan and Ingrid. Next question I have from Jackie. Can it be possible to be able to mark a document sent for signature as signed when a client signs a document outside of Go Reports? That's not as part of our system. We don't, but you can make a note on the file note. You can make a note on the client's file note that past that period signed by the client separately, and make that as an attachment onto the client's account. Jackie, I hope that answered your questions. I think because it's outside of Go Reports, like I said, you can make a file note and attach that, have a reference to it in here. So if you click on attachment and upload the file, because it was signed outside, you scan it, upload it here, and you would have a record here. Okay. Next questions I have from Jennifer. Now that ATO have to log into the, we have to log into the ATO to complete the super details, we definitely need to see super ongoing reports, or else once logged on into the ATO, we may as well lodge the BAS at the same time. So please, okay, all right. Like I said, we are analyzing the requirements, but it is, like I said, it's not as simple for us to just switch it on and switch it off, but we definitely look into it. Okay, another questions, will you ever link the Outlook to Outlook calendar? Jennifer, that's the next thing on the list. Okay, definitely super is a lot of requests here. The things that I didn't go through earlier because I didn't have my list in front of me. What I need to show is the alerts and notifications, which you've seen earlier, and the summary reports. So if you go into the Office Practice Manager, of course you're using it, and the summary reports. Is that right, Sandeep? Am I? This is not the job summary reports. Or I did forget about it.
Okay, first thing is on the job status. We are going to implement the customized jobs, Diana. Customized job status.
Oh, has that been already been released? Has it? I thought that's not released.
It's not been released. It's yet to release.
Yep. So the Office Practice Manager features update, like I said, we covered during the last week's webinar by Ali Cochran. It is now listed on our website. You can visit there and click view to go through it. But the new features that I mentioned earlier, just hold on. The new features, some of these new features we have not implemented, but they will be in the next release. So we'll be in the we'll be in a few weeks' time. All right. Well, that's all the questions that we have gone through. Also, if you have any other questions that have not been raised during the sessions, please do not hesitate to reach out to us on email or support email at support@govreports.com.au or info@govreports.com.au, or simply just pick up the phone and let us know. We are also working towards providing you with feedback box and support forum, as we often find same questions and answers from someone is also relevant for others. And rather than for us to repeat the messages, we will be looking into this in the very near future. One request I ask from you, our business exists to date has been much thanked to our users talking and referring their friends and colleagues to GovReports. And we are slow, as you can see. We released the referral program just sometime last year so that we can track and thank you directly. So if and when you would like to refer your friends or colleagues to GovReports from your account, you will get the 20% referral fee, and your friend will also get the matching amount as discount when joining. So keep those referrals coming, guys. Well, that's all, folks. Thanks again for tuning into this webinar sessions. I look forward to catching up with you again next time. Bye for now.